Good. Councilmember Austin Maxwell. Sorry, Austin.
You'll join me? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you so much, Mr. Maxwell, and thank you for your service. We're going to have a moment of silence now. Thank you so much. Thank everybody for being here tonight. We've got some people in the audience. Welcome, welcome. First on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Mr. Young. Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion passes for the approval of the agenda. Next up is the approval of the consent agenda. Any comments or questions?
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Consent agenda passes. Thank you so much. Next up is Councilmember Austin Maxwell again. He's going to address the board. Mr. Maxwell, will you come up, please?
I'll be quick so I can get home. So first off, I'd like to thank you to the board for allowing me a few minutes to talk about something that is near and dear to my heart and my wife's heart, and that is our son, Mitchell Maxwell, who would be 29 years old today on July 19th, 2023. Today is his 29th birthday, but in actuality is his 10th birthday in heaven when he left us on July 4th, 2013. Mitchell was a proud graduate of Riverdale High School, and he loved his public school experience. He loved football, he loved his friends, and he loved the thought of pursuing his dreams of eventually being a college football coach by being an invited walk-on at Mississippi State University. Sadly, that dream died with Mitchell, but Claire and I have continued to fuel that dream for one student a year via the Mitchell Maxwell Scholarship that we established at Riverdale High School in his name and memory. Each year, one deserving senior who desires to pursue a career in teaching or coaching is the recipient of a $1,000 scholarship that can be utilized towards pursuing their secondary education, and can be utilized towards the books and other expenses that they incur during their first semester of college. We've awarded this amount to over 10 different Riverdale High School students over the past 10 years as they began their journey into college. We felt this was an appropriate way to honor our son while also helping others that have that same passion to teach and coach our youth in the future. On his birthday today, Claire and I would like to ask the board's permission to expand the Mitchell Maxwell Scholarship one time for the school year of 2023-2024 to include all of our Rutherford County high schools of Laverne High School, Smyrna High School, Stewart's Creek High School, Eagleville High School, Rockvale High School, Blackman High School, Siegel High School, Oakland High School, Central Magnet School, Holloway High School, and Riverdale High School. Total of 11 schools of $1,000 each from our family to the Rutherford County Schools Central Office, and then this would be dispersed accordingly of $1,000 each to each of those schools so that one student is awarded this scholarship in April of 2024 prior to his or her graduation. Criteria for the award to be completed via a simple application that would be turned into the principal, with the principal at the respective school basically making the award determination. But in general, the award would go ideally to a student who was like Mitchell. one who had a desire to go into teaching or coaching and has been a student athlete in high school and who desires to be a student athlete in college as well. In closing, it is the 10-year anniversary of his passing, and as we move into the 11th year without him, Claire and I could not think of a better way to honor his memory and to help other students throughout the county by expanding this scholarship for this year's class of 2024. 11 schools with 11 seniors who can benefit from a little extra boost in honor of him as they pursue their dreams beyond our wonderful Rutherford County school system. I welcome your questions or comments regarding this and would simply ask for your support as a board and system, as we believe this is one small way to continue to honor his memory and aspirations while helping our RCS students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Maxwell. Thank you.
I'll see you in February or March with a really big check, like that, and those big, cardboard checks, all that good stuff, and hopefully those 11 students can all make it at that time. But thank you for your time, and
Yes,
thank you for
Thank you, and Claire, for your
taking care of her. I know she's tough to deal with.
thank you for your generosity, and may his memory always be a blessing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We need a break now. Okay, next up is going to be Jaron McLeod from Springs. We're going to move him up in the agenda, if that's okay with board members, so he can just do the visitors part, and if he wants to scurry out of here and not stay for the reading of our policies and things.
Well, thank you very much, and I probably will, gladly stay for all of that, but I appreciate it, and it's a fact to follow. That's a very special occasion, and well, good evening, Dr. Sullivan, Chairwoman Sharp, and esteemed board members. Thank you so much for the time, and it's been too long, but I do love providing you updates as we've promised throughout our tenure here together. Aaron and I have actually been here twice today. We came for a meeting earlier about safety and that collaboration. I wanted to extend my congratulations to Dr. Bullard for her new position and wish her all the very best. And
I'd rather not, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm just joking.
I do want to wish her the best as well.
Yeah, to be with your own kid, I mean, that's super cool. And then, to work with Dr. Chastain a little bit more again will be really great. But it's really wonderful to see you all this evening and have the opportunity to provide you with an update about Empower Academy. I'll provide you just a quick update, and if there's any questions, stand ready to answer any of those questions for you that you might have of an interest. But since I last addressed the board back in February, we've been making a lot of progress towards our goal of opening up next school year. We've postponed 1 year from when our original intentions were, so trying to open up in August of 2024 is still our goal. Some of our major accomplishments have been so far establishing our own board. We've held 3 board meetings to date and brought on experienced local board members in the community, and we're actually looking to expand our board by about 2 to 3 more board members. So any recommendations or people that you feel would be really great to represent the community, especially in the town of Smyrna, would be really appreciated. So we're asking for that collaboration, any recommendations you may have. We've held parent information meetings in the community. Erin does a great job keeping track of our parent interest list, and she provided me the numbers of potential students that have signed up for our interest list. And as of just a couple minutes ago, we are at 1,353 potential students in K through 8 that are interested in enrolling. We know these numbers may change when actual enrollment happens, but it's still very positive and very encouraging to the work that we're doing. We're looking to participate in upcoming community events, such as the Wings of Freedom Fish Fry in the town of Smyrna coming up in September with the Rotary Club. So really trying to look to get involved with the events and just kind of create an awareness about our program. As far as construction is concerned, that's what Aaron and I are dealing with every single day. We've learned so much about your guys' areas of expertise and the hot market that is this area. But we have secured 10 acres, are in escrow on Enon Springs down the street from Rocky Fork Middle School. We've been working closely with that family and selected 10 of the best acres of Tennessee limestone that we're going to have to do some work with. But needless to say, we're doing our best. We have selected a general contractor, DF Chase, who's based out of Nashville, as our general contractor, and are working with a Nashville-based architect agency called MZA. Right now, what we're looking at is kind of a phased approach. You know, as a new charter school, we don't have extensive amount of funds to build our dream year one. And so trying to take that perspective of what we can manage by still providing a great educational program. What we're looking at right now, to update you, is about 25 to 30,000 square feet, about 18 and 19 classroom spaces for students, and approximately seats for 480 students in this first phase. That is accomplishing K through 5 in year one, and then trying to expand thereafter. So our original bond will try to accommodate that build for that phase that I just described, and then having to go back to the bond market for a second round to expand to other grade levels and adding on a gymnasium, adding on classroom space for grades 6 through 8. Potential short-term space for contingencies and delays. You know, the wonderful weather we had last night and this morning just kind of illustrates, you know, we're on a very short timeline. Once we receive planning approval from the town of Smyrna, we're looking to break ground as soon as possible. But, you know, that could be somewhere in October. And to build a school even this size in 10 months is going to be a monumental task, even with all the acts of God that could happen and thrown our way. So we're going to do our very best to meet that deadline, but we need to start exploring contingency options, where else we can put students for a month or two. So again, like board members, if there's any ideas or spaces that you can think of, we're all ears to think about those, because I think that's the reality that we're going to be in to open up next year, is maybe a month or two of somewhere else until we can occupy the space. So right now, we're hard at work in all those areas, and that is my latest update. So thank you. But I'm happy to take questions if there are any. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. 1,300 students would be great. So last night, number 7 is the presentation of the director's review. We had that last night. Anybody have any questions or comments?
Can I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, board members, I just want to thank you. Being my first evaluation and first time through that, I greatly appreciate the feedback and the confidence as we continue to move forward into year 2. So I appreciate everything from our board, also our administrators. I wanted that to go to every principal, so it went to every principal, not just a select few, so I greatly appreciate them as well.
Number 8.
All right, number 8, the Human Resources tab 2. So this is the Memorandum of Understanding with Professional Educators, the Board of Education Management Team of Professional Educators of Rutherford County, represented by the Rutherford Education Association, and the collaborative process has reached agreement as presented in the Memorandum of Understanding. As we talked about at our work session, my recommended motion is to table the Memorandum of Understanding between the Rutherford County Board of Education and the Professional Educators of Rutherford County Schools for 1 month to allow for further review, and we discussed a couple of those items last night.
Any comments or questions? Number 9.
I'd like to make a
We
move,
want a motion on the table.
motion to move,
Move to approve?
Motion to move to,
postpone
motion, okay.
for 1 month.
A second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to oppose or abstain? Motion to move to August
Yes.
has been approved. Thank you. Number 9.
Number 9, Transportation tab 3. So the first one, so these are job title modifications. Request a modified job title and job description is presented, Special Transportation Routing Coordinator to Transportation Routing Supervisor. So recommended motion to approve the above title and job modification as presented.
Any questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve. Second.
Thank you, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion passes to approve the job title and job modification as presented.
All right, next one is the job description for customer service AM dispatcher. So recommended motion to approve the job description of customer service / AM dispatcher as submitted, and Mr. Lee went over this in detail last night.
Any further questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion passes to approve the job description for customer service. Voluntary termination.
All right, so we have voluntary termination of bus contract 125, and there is, it says 1125 below in the motion, but it's 125 for Mary Manning. Recommended approval, motion to approve voluntary termination of the bus contract from Mary Manning Bus 125, effective as soon as possible.
Any questions?
You think we'll have a hard time filling this route?
I do not think so. We have a number of contractors that have additional buses in the wings that are, we're able to keep everything in-house so far.
They have first refusal. The other contractors have first refusal.
Yes.
And we also did not add bus routes this year, correct? Trey, did we add any new bus routes, or new
Not
a
yet.
bus route? Not yet. So normally we would have extra bus routes that our contractors would be working and fighting towards, and we haven't had those yet.
We will know probably about the second or third week in August. We'll probably have to maybe add, we do have some in the budget, but we wait and adjust routes and try and maximize the buses that we have before we begin to add routes.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Rosales. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion passes to approve the voluntary termination of bus contract from Ms. Mary Manning. Number 10.
Number 10, legal tab 4, so 2023-2024 approved fees per policy 6.709 prior to the beginning of each school year. The board, upon the recommendation of the principals and director of school, shall approve all student fees for the upcoming school year. Additional fees may be approved during the school year as needed. Recommended motion to approve the fee list as presented for the 23-24 school year.
Any comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Rosales. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion to approve the fee list has been approved. Thank you so much. Policy adoption.
All right, so we have policy adoption, and I reached out to each board member individually about one of these. So we have two separate groups. We have a first and final reading with a very large list, and then we have one as well that during policy I requested to have two readings because of the potential for a lot of conversation. However, during our policy meeting, we actually came to a unanimous decision on that, so that this can take effect for the very beginning, first day of school, and not the third week of school. If the board is open to it, I would request that we include policy 4.403 library materials on first read as well. I know it's a little different than what we talked about, but I was the one that made that recommendation, and seeing no other discussion around it, I feel confident that that would be okay. So I'd like some direction, board, if anybody.
Is everybody okay with that?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I'm good.
Mr. Young, you're okay with that? Okay, thank you. Do you want to,
I will take the
do you want
board's
to read
guidance.
just the numbers?
I would love that.
Is everybody okay with that? Since he
Yes.
read them all yesterday.
Unless since Jared stayed, he could volunteer to read. Yeah. All right, so policy adoption, first and final reading. The below policy changes are recommended on the first and final reading as they're necessary to take effect before the start of the 23-24 school year. A, policy 1.102, board members' legal status. B, policy 1.106, code of ethics. C, policy 1.400, school board meetings. D, policy 1.402, notification of meetings. E, policy 1.901, charter school applications. F, policy 3.202, emergency preparedness plan. G, policy 3.205, security. H, policy 4.300, extracurricular activities. I, policy 4.403, library materials. J, policy 5.106, application and employment. K, policy 5.110, compensation guides and contracts. L, policy 5.119, employment of retirees. M, policy 5.302, sick leave. N, policy 5.305, family medical leave. O, policy 5.307, physical assault leave. P, policy 5.310, vacations and holidays. Q, policy 5.600, staff rights and responsibilities. R, policy 6.202, homeschools. S, policy 6.300, code of conduct. T, policy 6.303, interrogations and searches. U, policy 6.3090, zero tolerance offenses. V, policy 6.319, alternative education. W, policy 6.4001, student surveys, analysis, and evaluations. And then X, policy 6.402, physical examinations and immunizations. So their first motion is recommended approval, motion to suspend Board Policy 1.600 to specifically waive the 2 reading requirements for the above policies as presented.
I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Bratton. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion passes to suspend the Board Policy 1.600. So now we need a motion for the A through X.
Yes, so now we need a recommended approval, motion to adopt on the first and final reading the above policies as presented. And this does include library materials, policy 4.403, read it in the last section.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Tidwell.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Darby. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion passes for A through X policy. Number 11.
All right.
We've already done that. So number 12.
Number 12, financial matters, grant for voluntary pre-K. The voluntary pre-K grant is used to partially fund our 22 voluntary pre-K programs that are housed in 15 of our elementary schools. 13 classrooms are in Smyrna and Laverne, our highest areas of need. All classrooms are at capacity, 20 students per class, with more than 90% of the students and families served qualifying based on household incomes at or below the poverty level. The program is designed to reach Rutherford County's at-risk early learners. The monies afforded to us by this grant help to ensure that all students have supplies and high-quality materials available to them at all times in our VPK classrooms. Recommended motion to approve the acceptance of the voluntary pre-K grant totaling $1,971,820.22 as presented.
Any comments or questions? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Ms. Rosales.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Maxwell. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion passes to approve the acceptance of the voluntary pre-K grant.
All right, number 13, Special Education, Tab 5, request for approval of the lease for the house located at 1607 Elrod Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, 37130. The property will be utilized for the Transition Academy. The Transition Academy is for students who are 18 to 22 and have graduated high school with a special education diploma. Students are exposed to a variety of community experiences as well as independent living skills that would not be possible in the traditional school setting. Starting August 1st, 2023, it will be $1,650 per month and be paid by IDEA. Recommended motion to approve the lease of 1607 Elrod Street, Murfreesboro, Tennessee, as presented. And I have updated numbers if you.
You have updated numbers? Okay.
Yes, so I've got some updated numbers on the contract term. So we started this going back to the contract of 2010, 2011. It was $700 a month for a cost per year of $8,400. It has been $1,500 a month for the last 2 years, and at $18,000 per year, and now it is at $1,650 to $19,800. So a total cost over our 13 years of $205,200 that we have paid as a lease.
Can you repeat that again?
Yeah, $205,200 since 2010 we've paid. So it's
Bought a really nice house for that.
exactly to the point you guys made last night. So.
Donated to us. We accept all donations. Gifted.
I'll entertain a motion. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion passes to re-up the lease for Transition Academy. Number 14.
All right, number 14, Engineering Construction, Tab 6. And before I read this, I know, Mr. Reed, that we have had a question about as far as an appraisal, and so I don't think we did an appraisal for this one, but if you wouldn't mind while I'm reading this and come up kind of, because we looked, well, I know that's something we discussed. So 814 South Church Street, the board is contracted for the purchase of 814 South Church Street. The contract was subject to a 30-day inspection period and a 30-day lease investigation period. The school system's completed its inspections of the property and obtained estimates for the renovations needed to the building. The purchase price for the building and estimated cost of the renovations needed are $2,611,523, which equates to a cost of $208.92 per square foot. This cost is less than the cost to build a new building. If the board desires to move forward with the purchase of the property, the contract requires the board to give notice of its election to proceed to closing prior to the end of the inspection period, which expires on July 23rd, 2023. Recommended motion to give notice of the intent to purchase the property, subject to the lease investigation period.
Yes. And then, so the purchase price, of course, it was a list price. It was a property that was listed for sale. We negotiated a price lower than what was listed for sale, is how we came to the purchase price in this deal, and looked at kind of what the market was with respect for commercial properties in the area. That's how we came up with the purchase price for this contract. And then Trey basically looked at what it's going to cost to renovate the contract, to renovate the building, and see how that will compare to building a new building and buying new land for that. And that's how he determined the price was going to be $208.92 a square foot, and thought that was cheaper than building a new building. So from an economic standpoint, it makes sense to proceed with this purchase. Not sure if there are any more questions. If there are any more questions, we talk about it.
Dr. Sullivan, how many seats would this give us for alternative school? I think you said that last night, but
Yeah, the very bottom, you would probably look, depending on how much of that we could actually get, the bottom floor, probably somewhere between 30 and 50, depending on how it was designed. If we had all of it, it would be probably upwards of 200, depending on what type of renovation, chair, lift, elevator. There's some different things that we would have to look at that would definitely eat into that number. But the bottom, you would hope 30 to 50.
so the first year that we go live, technically, we can look at 30 to 50 new seats. So, and I'm sure you're going to be working on that, but technically, the majority of the schools would get at least one additional seat.
Oh, easily, yes.
Good.
Any further questions? I'll entertain a motion. Thank you, Mr. Reed.
Thank you.
Move to approve?
Second.
Thank you, ladies. I know. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to abstain or oppose? Motion passes for the notice of intent for the property, the Church Street property. Thank you so much. Dr. Anthony, do you have
No additional
something
updates.
else? Okay.
Only thing I would add, insurance, so we're starting to hear a little bit about state rates for next year. So state rates, the aggregate looks like they went up somewhere between 5 and 6%. And so we're going to be looking to see what type of plans we will be offering for our employees and the cost benefit. I know anytime that you do a larger salary raise, that definitely limits how much you can do to be able to offset insurance costs that you don't know. 5 or 6%, insurance goes up every year. It's not as big of a jump as we have had in other years, but that'll be our next step with our team, that we start looking at insurance.
Madam Chairman,
Yes.
I did notify the Rutherford County retired teachers also, and I had asked Ms. Couples to give us a breakdown of exactly how to do some of that survey, because I was afraid if you're not tech savvy, you might not understand, and she gave me a breakdown. So I did send something to the Rutherford County retired teachers, which is another way to reach people and tell them if they had any questions to call y'all, and just to give them a little heads up on how to do that survey if they were having trouble with it. So that went out today.
Thank you for doing that. We want to take care of them as promise to them as well. So
We appreciate it.
anything else?
Just a couple quick things, director's update. One, our principal started back 2 weeks ago. Assistant principal started back yesterday. Teachers start back on August 1st. So it is a Tuesday. I know that's a little bit weird of a time, but the way our payroll system works, we have to start August 1st and can't start before that. So they start back August 1st, and then students start back half a day, or the 2-hour day on that next Monday, and then a full day on the 8th. The way that we're starting school, we are very much into the start of school. We have had data meetings with principals already. We had kind of split the way that we started our school year with our principals up into kind of the way that we've talked about it during our reorganization of operations and instruction. So we held a full principals meeting today over operations. So our finance, student support, construction, safety, we did all of those type of things today. And then tomorrow, we'll all be in person together at the Lane Agri Park. And so we'll be discussing instruction tomorrow for the full day, with all principals and assistant principals are invited to that portion as well. So we are very much into the swing of starting school back. So there's a lot of work that goes into starting school. I also want to thank our instruction team and a lot of our teachers. I don't know the final numbers, maybe Dr. Chastain does, but a couple years ago, we stopped hosting a district-wide conference that we were paying somebody else to host for us, and it was over $300,000 we were paying for it, and we started doing it ourselves, so we call them the summits instead. You have any idea of numbers enrollment? I mean, for the summits? I know that high school had 524 different people attend a session on Tuesday when I presented, just in and of itself from the day before. And so we have 3,600 teachers, 500 high school teachers showed up for their summer. They don't pay for it, but they're also not paid to attend. And so just to have that, that's the only number I had off the top of my head. So I thank our staff for putting all of that together, because we don't pay a speaker to come in, do we? It's all our staff.
It is, yeah, and shout out to our professional development staff. Marcy Lehman does an amazing job coordinating all that. And we collect surveys and feedback, and the feedback has been really great from our teachers too. They enjoy being together on those days. Good.
With Marcy having to organize all of that, I mean, the questions she should not have to answer from me are like, hey, Marcy, what location am I presenting in? Like, I should be able to look that up, but I was like, Marcy, where am I going? And so professionally, she told me where. So.
And just a quick plug for what we're doing with our new teachers. So Dr. Anthony, it's a combination between HR and instruction, but we had originally, I think, over 350 we have signed up for what we have named Ignite, which is for our new teachers for 2 days, the 24th and the 25th. So we are going to give them a full course on kind of just day one, what to know about RCS. We've all been roped into presenting something, so you'll be there too. Don't forget. And then on...
I'm there twice, I
Yes,
think, the
you
first
are?
day. I thought so.
And then on Tuesday, for our brand new first-year teachers, we're just focusing on classroom management. So we're going to do a lot of de-escalation and just general procedural things like how to set up your classroom. So we're excited.
Where is this going to be?
The first day is going to be at Lane Agri Park, and then the second day will be split. Elementary will be at Stewart's Creek Elementary, and middle and high will be at Stewart's Creek High School.
In this, during the Ignite, is there a session about behavior? Managing classroom behavior?
It is intertwined in that, and we're trying to keep it simple. I think one of the things that as teachers, you learn that your biggest key to classroom management and controlling behavior issues is to have a really good system in place, just to keep it simple. So we're bringing in several of our own people in to just instruct on really basic classroom management strategies, just on seriously, like how kids should enter a classroom, how they should sit at their desks, how they should ask questions. I mean, very, very simple things to just give them that makes a huge difference.
Procedures and routines.
They don't have to be flashy,
Right.
And then we're going to have touch points throughout the year where we'll bring new teachers in and just make sure that they truly are part of our RCS family. That sounds kind of cheesy, but that really is what we're hoping to make them feel like we're taking care of them.
And then looking at that number, 350, we did have to stop enrollment a little bit, and we'll do some other things with teachers who have signed up. But to put that in perspective, we've got about 3,600 certified staff, so it's 10% of our staff. I don't take that to say that we had a 10% attrition rate. I think we have filled more positions than we did last year that possibly remained open. So still about 10%.
That's great.
Thank you guys for organizing that. That's awesome.
Do you have an update on any of these? Nothing else? Okay. Ms. Rosales, do you have anything?
Nothing really since yesterday, kind of reminding everybody about the meeting that we're going to have with the chair in August 17 during the morning time. It's going to be here at Central Office in the boardroom. I'm going to be working with Dawn to start sending out the formal invitations so that everybody can put it in their calendar. But speaking in the same vein, in talking about the summer summits, I did attend the summer summit for the middle school principals, and it was a combination of both AP and principals. So there were they didn't get to go through a lot of the topics that we're talking about, but I did write some things that I think the board should be made aware. I've shared these already with Dr. Chastain and Monica as well. And so I think everybody should hear it. So one thing that they suggested These are just suggestions, okay? So they're always going to ask for the pie in the sky. So I just want to clarify that. Bus aids, to include bus aids, especially for the routes, the larger routes that we have, to kind of keep management of behavior, goes back to behavior. The other concern is the overcrowding. They're concerned about the schools being overcrowded and also that being a contributing factor to behavior issues. The other thing is that they're wanting more of is a collaboration and a partnership with the juvenile system in regards to the truancy. I know that here in our district, there's already things that are happening in motion behind the scenes to kind of help with this. The other recommendation is to have an in-school truancy officer at every school. Some schools are able to have that because they have funding that comes through Title I, so they can pay, you know, for someone to do that, but that's just a recommendation. This one is going to be honestly a ongoing it's going to be ongoing working collaboration. It's holding them more accountable, the parents. The other thing that they've suggested is having a mandatory Saturday school, but that is, one of the concerns about that is the contracts and funding, and then having some kind of accountability or consequence if the child doesn't attend Saturday school. So there's a lot of variables to work through that. And then transportation, how do the kids get there? So there's just a lot of moving variables to figure it out. That's about it. That's all I had that really I thought the board needed to hear. I really encourage the board members next year to attend the summer summits for they have one for specific to elementary school, then the middle school and high school, because you get to hear a lot of information and you get feedback of what their concerns are and what's working for them and what's not working for them, and it can also help set a more strategic plan in the future. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Rosales. We had a pretty short meeting tonight, but not to worry. We've got 4 hours to travel tomorrow, and then about an 8-hour session on Friday, and then probably at least a 6 or more hour on Saturday. So we're going to get our time in this week. Thankful for the staff members that are going to join us, and Ms. Dawn's going to get to come. And so we're excited to go and learn about summer law and see what else. And also we're going to ask the attorneys about third grade summer law and what else they're going to do with the summer law. So I don't think I have anything else. Does anybody have anything else? Safe travels for everyone.
I move to adjourn.
Thank you, Ms. Bratton. We are adjourned.
All right.